We're back. Good to see you. Happy Wednesday, 6th day of January 2021. I am Dan Koontz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Got a good show for you today. Don't normally promise you a 5-star show on a Wednesday because you know how we work around here. Mondays, we're here and we work, but we don't work real hard. And on Tuesdays, we're here and we work and we don't work real hard. Wednesdays, we start bearing down a little bit. Thursdays, we put together a four-star show, and then on Fridays, we're back to Monday. 32 degrees, clear skies. Not a bad day today. We had a little bit of rain in the Wenatchee Valley overnight. There are some slick spots, we're told. A couple of locations on Blewett Pass in some of those areas as you start climbing up US 97. I heard on the squawker from the State Patrol that there are some very slick spots that kind of sneak up on you. And the same deal with the Knapp's Hill Tunnel on 97A between Aniata and Chelan, or right as you start climbing up that grade, there are some spots. They had some cars spin out and end up in the ditch, so heads up there. There's some slippery spots. No real snow in the forecast, maybe a little bit here, a little bit there. Still very mild. Forecast details are coming up. We got some news to get to. It was a busy day around the newsroom yesterday and still this morning. We'll get you the information you need to start your Wednesday sports, preview the Seahawks and the Rams on what they're calling Super Wild Card Weekend, because they got to call it something. We'll talk about that when we get to sports, plus we'll have all the other stuff that we're used to. And it is back for, I don't know how many years they've been doing People of Our Past. It's been going on for quite some time. Brought to you by the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. Obviously, because of COVID-19 restrictions, they're not going to do it at the museum this year, but the program goes on. They're celebrating 100 years of women's suffrage, and they're going to have 4 local actresses portray 4 women who played significant roles in the development of the Wenatchee Valley in North Central Washington. We're going to hear from 2 lovely young ladies this morning. Ashley Sinner, a regular contributor to this program for the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center, and Julie Kuntz, who portrays Eva Anderson in People of Our Past. We'll have that for you in the back half of the show. Let's see what we got. Megan's pushing the buttons. I'm sitting in the studio acting like I know what I'm doing, and we say good morning to the valley from the cross camp. Look where the Wenatchee River meets the Columbia River. Looks like they got a little low-hanging fog there, probably because the water temperature as the two meet is variable enough that the fog forms. Outside of that, it's zoomed in just a little bit from our cross camera, Wenatchee Heights camera. We kind of call it the cross camera. It's next to the cross at the very tip of Wenatchee Heights, and it gives us a tremendous view of this beautiful Wenatchee Valley. For the first time in 10 days, sunrise will be at 7:47. It's been at 7:48 since shortly after Christmas. It's now going to be about 1 minute earlier, and sunset 1 minute later. We got ourselves 8 hours and 40 minutes, 30 minutes of daylight today. 40 minutes of daylight today, 8 hours and 40 minutes. That's pretty good. We'll take that. Days are getting longer. Camber 2. Let's find out where we're going to visit. I don't know. Oh, that is Steins, I believe. I get confirmation from Megan. I don't know why Steins is so easy for me to identify, and then I realize, number one, if you look way off in the distance, that's the Wenatchee Valley, the city lights that you see, so all that you're encompassing there is Cashmere, but the other thing that I immediately notice is the golf course, which is right in the middle of your screen there, the Cashmere Golf Course, and you can see the Cashmere Fairgrounds. So it looks like they're not taking any tee times there at the Cashmere Golf Course. Good morning, Cashmere. It's a beautiful view from the top of Steins Hill. Quite the hike, I'm told. I've never done it. Camera number 3. Oh, yeah, I'm liking that. Looks like Leavenworth. Is it? That's the Tumwater camera. Oh, look at that, all lit up. That's cool. That's zoomed in pretty neat. Good morning, Leavenworth. Leavenworth, of course, still has some snow on the ground. You notice Cashmere still has some snow on the ground. Here in the Wenatchee Valley, on the valley floor anyway, there's no snow except in a couple of parking lots where they plowed what little snow we've had so far this winter. It hasn't really been much of a winter yet, although they tell us it's a La Nina year. And camera number 4. Ooh, is that Billy Goat? That's awesome. Look at that. Good morning, Pateris. Good morning, Brewster. Good morning, Bridgeport. Can't see you, but you're there. Good morning, Okanagan, Omak, Riverside. That's a neat view. Right at the very bottom is Pateris. You can't quite make out the Methow River. And then you can see Brewster just about in the middle of your screen. And that area up in the Okanagan is pretty much covered in snow on a January morning. That's some nice views, courtesy of Local Tel's Sky-Fi setup. All right, we have the 7-day outlook graphically presented to you from the National Weather Service, so take a look at it. That's pretty much what we're going to be dealing with. Not a lot to talk about today. A little bit of light valley rain. I think most of the rain that we're going to get has already come. We could get some late afternoon rain. We'll give you those details in just a little bit. Catch a break on Thursday. A weak system comes in Friday, Saturday. It kind of peters out, not going to pack a great deal of interesting weather. It's all things really pretty benign until we get to Monday night and Tuesday. Then we get more active weather. So your 7-day outlook as we get deeper and deeper into the new year from the National Weather Service. Here we go. Oh, what is that? Oh my! Let's just go. I'll just go ahead and get that. Was kind of throw that up again, Megan. I want to see that. I want to see that what that looked like. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, so grab a mirror. Here's the forecast. Slight chance of some afternoon rain, basically around 2 or 3 o'clock. It's going to be cloudy most of the day today. We'll top off at right around 39 or 40 degrees. Real quickly, we hit 38 yesterday. That happened at 8 o'clock in the evening, by the way. Snow level goes down to 2,300 feet tonight, but there's only about a 30% chance of precipitation. Increasing clouds on Thursday. We'll have sunshine tomorrow morning, clouds on Thursday afternoon. Weak system comes in Thursday night. Could get a light snowflake, probably no real development there. Rain and snow mix on Friday before it switches over to all rain. But again, very little precipitation in the forecast. For the weekend, partly sunny on Saturday, mostly cloudy Sunday. Then things get a little active on Monday and Tuesday. Let's take you up to the passes. We got some good news. They're open. They weren't for a while. When I got up this morning at 4 o'clock, the big news was I-90 and Stevens was closed. But they're open now, but it ain't very pretty right now. Chains are required on Snoqualmie Pass. That's a live shot. It's snowing. You got compact snow and ice on the roadway. And again, chains are required. Lots of slush and lots of ruts on the freeway. So long traveling time. So get ready for that. So chains required unless you have all-wheel drive on Snoqualmie Pass. Stevens has a traction tower requirement. They did some avalanche control work earlier. Ooh, that's cool. Somebody climb up there and clean off that lens. It'll warm up and eventually that icicle will come off. But right now on Stevens Pass, trust me, it's down there. Traction tires are required. It's snowing with compact snow and ice on the roadway. At least the roadway is open. They did some avalanche control work overnight. Blewett Pass has a traction tire advisory. It's snowing on Blewett. As you can see, the snow right at the summit, the roadway is covered in snow. Traction tires are advised. So to recap, traction tires advised on Blewett, required on Stevens, chains required on Snoqualmie Pass. They're going to expect a couple of inches at least today, maybe an inch tonight, and then no snow on Thursday, a couple of inches on Friday, no snow in the forecast on Saturday or Sunday, and then the next round of snow comes on Monday. So they're going to get a little bit of snow today. Pack a little patience, maybe wait until noon or 1 if you have to go over the mountain passes. The longer the wait, the better off you're going to be because they'll be able to get the snow plows up and running and the conditions on the passes will improve as the day goes on. 9 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will have your news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
CVCH wants to make your winter just a little brighter with their Get Out and Explore gift giveaway. This December and January, visit cvchgetout.com and download fun, safe, and simple activity guides to 4 beautiful towns in our backyard: Wenatchee, Chelan, Cashmere, and Leavenworth. Most activities are free of charge and unique to the community you visit. So get out and explore. Visit cvchgetout.com for details.
Stay active and independent for life. SAIL is an evidence-based strength, balance, and fitness program. The exercises in a SAIL class have been packaged into a formal regimen focusing on 4 key areas important to the health and fitness of mature participants: low-impact cardiovascular, balance work, strength training, and stretching. SAIL classes are designed for people of all fitness levels and can be done sitting or standing. Join us for SAIL on the NCW Life channel. Check your listing for days and times.
10 minutes after the hour, mostly clear, 32 degrees outside of our studios. We'll get near 40 today with a little bit of late afternoon rain, and then we dry out and quiet down for the most part over the next 48 hours. Here are your headlines. Police are investigating an armed robbery that was carried out at gunpoint. This happened Monday night outside of an East Wenatchee apartment complex. East Wenatchee Police Chief Rick Johnson said they're still looking for the suspect. The robbery reported at 10:19 Monday night outside the Colorado and River Street apartments. This is in the 200 block of 5th Street Northeast, right behind the Wenatchee Valley Mall. The female victim told police she was getting out of a car when a male suspect pointed a gun at her head, pulled her hair, shoved her to the ground, and then took her cell phone and ran east on 5th Street. He was described as approximately 5 feet 6 inches tall, with a medium to chubby build, wearing black clothing, a black face mask, and a hoodie. Johnson asked anybody with an active security camera in the area to contact the East Wenatchee Police Department. You can do so at 663-9911. It was like a scene out of Die Hard. Those two inmates that you've heard about who escaped yesterday from the Okanagan County Jail, they apparently got out through the ventilation system. 53-year-old Christian Edward White of Rock Island and 28-year-old Christopher L. Whitman of Bellingham. They're still being sought by authorities after disappearing from the facility. This happened early Monday. They're believed to have exited through the HVAC system after prying open a vent in the shower area. Deputies say the two men left notes for their jailers. White's note allegedly said he was afraid of catching COVID-19. While incarcerated, he was last seen near OMAC. They were last known to be wearing blue inmate clothing with white long underwear, but they may have changed clothing at this point, said Sheriff Tony Hawley. He said anybody who sees the men should not approach the men, but instead should contact law enforcement authorities. 4 juveniles were arrested after a drive-by shooting. This happened Sunday night at Moses Lake. Multiple shots fired, nobody injured. Moses Lake police say the shooting happened just after 10 o'clock in the evening on North Paxton Drive near West Valley Road. Using witness descriptions of the vehicle, Moses Lake police quickly located the suspects and reported finding 2 firearms. All 4 of the juveniles booked into the Grant County Juvenile Detention Facility on charges that included drive-by shooting and unlawful possession of a firearm. Well, Governor Jay Inslee announced new strategies for pandemic recovery yesterday, allowing local economies to reopen on a regional basis as their COVID-19 statistics improve. Now, instead of county-by-county improvement, the Healthy Washington Plan creates 8 regions where coronavirus factors will determine how quickly commerce and gatherings can resume. Inslee outlined the plan at a news conference yesterday afternoon.
Right now, we only have 2 phases, but more phases will be put on the board when it becomes clear that we have knocked down COVID activity emphatically. And also a significant difference is that this will not be done on a county-by-county basis, but instead will be done by regions. We have found that because healthcare systems are regional, and we know that viruses do not respect county boundaries, we're moving to a regional assessment of criteria to allow increased economic activity. This makes sense not only from a public health perspective, but also from a healthcare delivery perspective. And on the screen here, you have a map of the regions. We have 8 regions. They're both based on health system resources over the geographic area. So their combined health metrics, we know, play an enormous role on what we use to track our progress. These are metrics that our partners are already familiar with that we will be using to judge when we're ready to reopen certain economic parts of our state. These are COVID-19 hospitalization rates, ICU capacity, case data, and test positivity data. All 4 targets will need to be met for the regions to reopen. And based on the metrics this plan is built on, every region in phase 1 today, every region will start in phase 1 today, given their metrics at the moment. There won't have to be any application process to move through to phase 2. It'll essentially be automatic, if you will, based on information regularly collected by the State Department of Health. So it'll be something that the numbers will tell the tale.
As you probably saw by looking at the map, Chelan, Douglas, Okanagan, and Grant counties are in the north central region under the plan. The plan goes into effect on Monday. Finally, this morning, the Wenatchee School District is on schedule to return fourth graders to classrooms next Monday for half-day in-school instruction. Public Information Officer Diana Haglund said the district remains on schedule for returning all grade levels in the hybrid format by January 26th. Haglund said there was a limited number of new coronavirus cases reported for student and staff following the winter break, but the district will continue to monitor rates weekly and adjust as necessary. The district reported yesterday that in the past 2 weeks, 4 students and 4 staff members from 4 different schools tested positive for COVID-19. Fifth graders are scheduled to return to classes on January 20th, middle and high school students on January 26th. That's what's making headlines 16 minutes after the hour. If today is any indication of yesterday, we're going to have another busy newscast for you at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock with Eric and Grant. And with a preview, here's Grant.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, our wet weather will come to an end by this afternoon and then a break from the precipitation on Thursday. I'll have your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom tells us how the WIAA may decide today on the fate of high school sports this year. That and all the day's news coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope you'll join us then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. If you want to get a hold of us, we're more than happy for you to do that. We don't mind. We'd like to hear from our viewers. Look at the bottom of your screen. You can see all the different ways you can get a hold of us via our Facebook page, via our email address, via our website, and yes, we even have a telephone number, and it rings. I know, it's not far from my desk. Going to take a break. When we come back, sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, some celebrity birthdays. Everybody's entitled to Mike Minardi's opinion, and we're going to preview People of Our Past with Ashley Center and Julie Koontz. It returns for another big year at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center in a virtual format. It starts tomorrow. We'll talk about that in the back half of the hour. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Hello, North Central Washington. I'm Dave Tosh, Executive Director, Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center, and I'm excited to announce a new variety show entitled Vibrant Living, brought to you by the Senior Center, and I think you'll find it educational, informative, and a lot of fun. Join us in early November for the new program, Vibrant Living.
There are so many possibilities for you to learn local right here at Wenatchee Valley College. Take classes towards a degree or certificate in more than 50 areas of study. Wenatchee Valley College now offers a large variety of virtual classes, including labs, sign language, music, and machining, and they have the resources to help you succeed in virtual classes. So when a college degree is your goal, learn local at Wenatchee Valley College. We're back at 19 minutes after the hour. In sports, we should learn a lot more about the future of high school sports in Washington. Later on today, the WIAA Executive Board is meeting this afternoon to update its season schedules. Now, the goal is to provide student athletes a chance to participate in every sport and activity possible based on mandatory COVID-19 guidelines. The meeting was delayed until today so the WIAA could get a chance to review the new guidelines that was released by the governor's office. That, of course, happened yesterday when the governor announced the new strategy, breaking the state into 8 regions for reopening rather than going county by county. The Healthy Washington Initiative set to begin Monday, each region starting at a level 1 restart phase. It's likely that the Seahawks will face the Rams with the backup quarterback, John Wolford, under center on Saturday in the NFC wildcard playoffs. If that makes Seahawk fans a little nervous, well, how have they fared against backup quarterbacks in the past? Take a look. Going back to 2018, Seattle has faced backup quarterbacks either as starters or in-game substitutions 12 times. In those games, Seahawks have gone 9-3. However, backups have had fairly good numbers against Seattle's defense. Backups have completed 67% of their passes for a total of 2,681 yards. They've thrown 14 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Seattle has also sacked backup quarterbacks 19 times in those 12 games. The average quarterback rating, just a little over 90. John Wolford led the Rams past Arizona last week in a must-win game to get into the playoffs. It was Wolford's first ever game in the NFL. After throwing an interception on his first attempt, he completed 22 for 38 passes, 231 yards, and he led the Rams in rushing with 56 yards. Linebacker Bobby Wagner says Wolford provides L.A. with a different look rather than Jared Goff.
I think the biggest thing was, him being a little bit more mobile. Definitely felt like he, when he didn't have it downfield, he took off and ran the ball. And, Goff did it, a little bit in our game, but not the way that they did it, not the way he did it in Arizona. So I wouldn't be surprised if they even threw in a couple design quarterback runs for him. So I think that would be the big difference. As far as the offense, it was still the same offense, still making the same reads, still looking for the same guys. Obviously, you want to get the ball in your playmakers' hands, and he'll have more playmakers this week, but I definitely expect him to use his legs a little bit when he has to.
Coach Pete Carroll was impressed by the quarterback out of Wake Forest, whose previous playing experience was with the Arizona Hotshots of the Alliance of American Football League.
He had a really good game, and to bounce back from his first throw, he makes gets picked off, and he bounced right back and had a really winning football game, and I'm sure they're just really excited about it. And they didn't protect him to and be safe with him at all. He threw the ball over the yard and made some big throws down the field and spread the formations and all that. It was really impressive. And he ran well too, and so. I can see that if that's the way they're going, that they would have a high level of excitement about his ability to throw together another good game. So he did really well.
The Rams have a high-powered offense, just not lately. They haven't scored a touchdown over their last couple of games. And KJ Wright says, well, let's hope that trend continues on Saturday.
That is very surprising. This team is just full of talent, from the receiving corps to I think their tight ends are one of the best in the league. And, they've always been explosive ever since he's been there. And so it's we know that come Sunday, he go do some stuff to try to get them going, whether it's no huddle, whether they try to get shots downfield. And so we got to make it our mission to do the same thing. We had a great game against them 2 weeks ago. And so we got to make sure we repeat that and have another successful game.
Wright is in the middle of one of his best seasons as a pro. He's been in the NFL for 10 years. He's second on the team in tackles. He's got 86 combined. And defensive coordinator Ken Norton Jr. says KJ Wright is the kind of player a coach loves having.
It's amazing that you say that. Just watching him play like you guys have over the years, KJ is, so many things that you can coach. There's a lot of things you can't coach. And there's so many things that you can rely on him to cover you on the field. He makes everyone else around him better. Everyone understand his football IQ. He's a gym rat when it comes to ball. He's always watching film, always asking questions, always wants to know why. And you can tell when he plays, he figures things out really fast. And he's able to have a conversation with him in a few words, give him a little look, make a little adjustment, and he does it right there. He's a coach's dream now. He's serious about what he does, and he's certainly a guy that makes us all better.
Seahawks and Rams, Saturday afternoon, 1:40 kickoff at Lumen Field, NFC wildcard playoffs. You can check local listings, or you can watch the game on Fox, because that's where it's going to be televised. Here's our schedule upcoming this week, sports-wise, on the NCW Life channel. Hockey night tomorrow night has the Wenatchee Wild and the Merritt Centennials from last September at the Town Toyota Center. We'll drop the puck at 7 o'clock. It's hard to believe, but the last high school sports we had in Washington was last March in the state 1A basketball tournament. Well, Friday we're going to re-air the NFHS broadcast of the Cashmere girls in the semifinals against LaSalle. That'll be Friday at 7. On Saturday, we're back to the Sun Dome in Yakima for the Cashmere boys trophy game against Riverview at 2 o'clock, and that's followed by the Cashmere girls and Linden Christian for the state championship at 7. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Wednesday at 25 minutes after the hour. I had 4 obscure holidays to choose from. Today is National Cuddle Up Day. I'm all for that. Today is National Technology Day. I was thinking about doing that, but I'm kind of scared of it. Today is National Shortbread Day. We're not going to do that. No. Beans, the wonderful fruit. The more you eat, the more you... Today is National Bean Day. every January 6th that marks the death of Gregory Mendel, who died on January 6, 1884. He was a friar and a scientist who was the first one to figure out, well, what happens if I take a pea plant and I breed it with a bean plant, which basically is the cornerstone of modern genetics. So we commemorate his life by eating beans. Beans, of course, are really good for you. Beans go way back. One of the very first cultivated foods ever. Thousands and thousands of years, humans have been eating beans. It's one of the very earliest food crops that were actually grown and harvested to eat by human beings. There are over 40,000 different bean varieties in the world. That's a lot of beans. By statute, bean soup must be served, it's required, it's on the menu of the United States Senate cafeteria every day for reasons that nobody seems to know. Bean soup has to be on the menu at the Senate cafeteria every day. So you can insert your own gas joke now. Good. The top bean producing states in the U.S. are North Dakota, Michigan, and Nebraska. In fact, North Dakota alone accounts for 32% of the nation's bean production. We like beans, but we got nothing on Great Britain. 40 tons of baked beans are eaten in Great Britain every year. The average American only eats about 1/4 of the amount of beans that an average British citizen does in an average year. Again, you can now insert your own joke about gas. Happy National Bean Day. Scarf some down today. Today in history, 340 years ago today, January 6th, 1681. We're going way back. The very first recorded boxing match took place. The second Duke of Albemarle engineered a fight between his butler and his butcher. He was a wealthy guy, he was a duke, and he just wanted to see a couple of guys duke it out. So he arranged for a bare-knuckle bout between his butler and his butcher. The butcher won, in case you're curious. Early fighting had no written rules. There were no rules at all. There were no weight divisions, there were no rounds, there were no referees. Anything went. You could headbutt, you could just punch them, you could grab them and throw them around, you could gouge their eyes, you could choke them, it didn't really matter. Maybe that's why boxing has so much fallen off the radar over the last 30 years or so. Had its birth on this day 340 years ago. We always do states. Happy birthday, New Mexico. Now that's a cool state flag. I like that one. New Mexico joined the Union on January 6th, 1912. 109 years ago. It's the 47th state. Got some fun facts about New Mexico. At 7,199 feet above sea level, Santa Fe is the highest state capital in the Union. There are a lot of roads in New Mexico, but almost 75% of all the roads in New Mexico are unpaved. That's more than any other state. New Mexico has more cows than people, for what that's worth. New Mexico has more PhDs per capita than any other state, and a lot of that has to do with, well, research. And the New Mexico state constitution officially bars idiots from voting. Whatever that may mean. Happy birthday, New Mexico. One of the most significant speeches in American history took place 80 years ago today, January 6th, 1941. In his State of the Union address, Franklin Delano Roosevelt basically said, we're all in. Remember, Nazi Germany had pretty much conquered, Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy had conquered continental Europe. England stood alone, and FDR, even though we weren't in the war yet, said we're kind of going to get there. And he came up with his 4 freedoms speech. And here's an excerpt.
The first is freedom of speech and expression everywhere in the world. The second is freedom of every person to worship God in his own way everywhere in the world. The third is freedom from want, which translated into world terms means economic understandings which will secure to every nation a healthy, peacetime life for its inhabitants everywhere in the world. The fourth is freedom from fear, which translated into world terms means a worldwide reduction of armaments to such a point and in such a thorough fashion that no nation will be in a position to commit an act of physical aggression against any neighbor anywhere in the world.
Yes, the famous Four Freedoms speech delivered on this date 80 years ago today. And finally, on January 6, 1974, 47 years ago today, in response to the oil crisis, the oil embargo, I think we all, if you were alive, you remember gas lines and that big problem, we commenced daylight saving time 4 months early. Yeah, we had year-round daylight saving time from January 6, 1974 to October 27th, 1975. The idea is we would have more light, we'd use less fuel. Daylight saving time, of course, needs to go away. Don't want to get into that. Let's do birthdays before we take a break. Happy 84th birthday to legendary football coach Lou Holtz. He started his college coaching career at the College of William and Mary. Then he moved on to North Carolina State University. He coached the Jets for 1 year in 1976. Then the University of Arkansas, then the University of Minnesota, then the University of Notre Dame, where he won a national championship, and finally the University of South Carolina. He is the only college football coach to coach 6 different schools to bowl games. Lou Holtz is 84 years old today. The founder of Pink Floyd, Syd Barrett, born in the state in 1946. Syd Barrett led Pink Floyd for the first 2 albums, and then he became one of the great acid casualties in rock and roll history. He took one too many trips and never really came back. Shine On You Crazy Diamond, the great Pink Floyd song from 1975 from the album Wish You Were Here, is about Syd Barrett. So was the album The Wall. Syd Barrett did a couple of really good solo albums after he left Pink Floyd, and then he kind of just floated off into the distance. He died in 2006 at the age of 60. And happy birthday to the multi-talented Kate McKinnon of Saturday Night Live. She is good, and she is 37 years old today. Going to take a break. Mike McKnight's Gun of the Opinion, and then 2 interviews, one with Ashley Sinner and one with Julie Koontz. The topic, People of Our Past. It's back starting tomorrow. You're watching Wake Up on Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, my name is Blaine Johnson. I'm at Global Elite Motors. We're tied in with Global Car Care down here locally. So we're not your typical car buying experience. Somebody can come down here, take a look at what we have, and if we have the right vehicle for you, we'd be glad to help you out with it. A lot of times we are able to go out and find specific vehicles for somebody so that it fits their needs, their budget, and all the things that you want without you being obligated right away. If you're looking for a good, reliable car, come see me, Blaine Johnson, down at Global Elite Motors.
How much are you paying for adult, family, or assisted living? Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living offers 1-bedroom apartments for one affordable price. Their rates are all-inclusive, no nickel or diming or sudden increases, just one set price. You or your loved one will receive good food and excellent care in a relaxed, home-like environment. Stop on by for a tour to see if the Epladolin family is the right choice for you.
Family-owned and operated Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living in Cashmere. Affordable care.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. You know, well, we've been wrong about heaven and hell. I realize that we've been taught about these places. It's really screwed up. First of all, hell isn't hot. No, it's not. I mean, you're supposed to be miserable there, right? So instead of being hot, hell must be colder than a well digger's butt with slush, ice, and terminally cold, wet feet. And heaven is supposed to be paradise, right? A place where you're both really comfortable, happy, and thrilled to be there. Okay. So heaven has got to be a place where it's warm, with warm salt water, cold beer, and garlic shrimp. But you know what else is going to be in heaven? Roller coasters, yes! Wild, crazy, upside down and corkscrew roller coasters with never a line you have to wait in. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Heaven. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that is my opinion.
And welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It is a long-standing tradition, People of Our Past, which for many, many years has been held at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center with local actors and actresses playing some of the pioneers in the Wenatchee Valley over the past 100 years or so. COVID or no COVID, People of Our Past is coming back, and it starts again on Thursday. Yeah, it's going to be different. It's virtual, but still, the importance of this project cannot be underestimated. They're celebrating 100 years of women's suffrage, and they're going to have 4 local actresses portray 4 local women who had significant impact, not only in North Central Washington, but in this country's history as well. And here to talk about People of Our Past is our friend from the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. It's Ashley Sinner. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Dan. Good to see you again. It's been a while.
It's been a long time. We were all excited when it looked like right before maybe Thanksgiving that you guys were going to open up, and then you did open up, and then 5 days later it was right back to lockdown again. So I miss talking to you, but let's talk about People of Our Past. This whole project, again, this has been going on for many, many years. The one person who deserves kudos in all this, I believe, is Jill Sheets, who kind of puts this whole thing together. Is that not correct?
That's right. Jill started out in our education department, but now she is our membership and events coordinator. So she is still, she's been involved with People of Our Past since I think she first started working at the museum, and she is continuing to put it together. And of course, this year in a new virtual way. So she has always been an ideas person, but also she follows through and gets it done. So she's really a great asset to the museum.
She's also a little on the shy and humble side, because I invited Jill to talk about it. She said, no. Talk to Ashley. I said, okay.
But you will find many of the museum staff are more than happy to let me go and speak for their work. But I have the best job, since I get to tell you what all of them are doing and all the exciting things they're doing. And I've just been really impressed by everyone this year and the way they've been so innovative.
Yeah, everybody's had to kind of adapt to what's going on in this COVID world, but I'm glad to see that People of Our Past is continuing. My sister Julie will be portraying Eva Anderson, and we'll be talking to Julie here shortly on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Also, Amy Edwards is going to play Elise Parrish, who was part of a landmark Supreme Court case that brought minimum wage to this country. Dr. Minnie Simmons was Wenatchee's first female doctor. She's going to be portrayed by Christy Clare. And Bernice Bacharach was the very first female attorney in the North Central Washington area admitted to the bar, and she's going to be played by Katie, I don't want to mispronounce Katie's last name, Ringali? Ringali, thank you. I always struggle with Italian names. So Jill put all of this together. This is her brainchild. Why these 4 people and all that stuff? Give me some of the details on that, Ashley.
Well, we have our, as you mentioned before, our 100 years of women's suffrage, raising our voice, empowering women exhibit, which is in the gallery right now. And actually, just an aside, even though the museum is closed, our retail spaces are open, and our gallery right now, that exhibit, is an art gallery with women painters of Washington. So it is open by appointment, and you can make a reservation on our the museum website to go and see that. So it's a retail space, but it's our celebration of women's suffrage. And so this year, Jill took that exhibit theme and tied it into People of Our Past to make sure that we are highlighting the local women who have done remarkable things here in the Wenatchee Valley.
Well, Jill Sheets should get all the credit in the world. My sister said, if it wasn't for Jill, I wouldn't know anything about Eva Anderson. Jill did all of the homework and gave her all the information that she needed so she could actually and accurately portray Eva Anderson. My guess is Jill did the same for the other 3 actresses in this production?
Yeah, and I can't tell you for sure. Usually, of course, we have Chris Rader with who's been involved with the museum for a long time, and she does the Confluence, and so she does a lot of research all the time, and she usually has been involved with helping with people of our passing and getting the scripts together and the information to go in them. So I know Jill has done a lot of work, and she may have reached out to Chris and some other people as well to help her with that.
So Ashley, how do people? Well, they can't really participate, unlike previous people of our past, when the actors or actresses would be in character. They would do their role, do their lines, and there would be question and answer from the general audience, and they would have to answer those questions in character. They can't do this year because it is a virtual people of our past. How do people watch? How do they get to enjoy this production?
So this year we're releasing one video a week. So on Thursday, starting this Thursday, through the next 4 weeks, we'll be releasing a new video, and it's by donations. So you can go to our website, WenatcheeValleyMuseum.org, and register with a donation to watch these videos, and they will be emailed to you if you register. So that is how it's happening. So it is just a video of, I guess, the monologue part of what people of our past traditionally is, and not the interactive part, but it's still a way that we can bring people of our past to our community again this year.
So, and again, as she mentioned, starting this Thursday, the 7th, and then each Thursday for the next following 3 Thursdays, one video will be released and ready for anybody who's willing to donate to help the museum go forward. How are things at the museum? I haven't had a chance to talk to you.
I know. We have done a lot of pivoting over a long time now, and we have been really innovative. Like I said before, I'm just really proud of us. We have Multicultural Fest coming up. Traditionally, it's the Saturday of Martin Luther King holiday. This year, it will be throughout the month, and we have videos that we will release on our social media pages and our YouTube channel about celebrating Wenatchee Valley's rich cultural heritage and all that entails. And we will have a community forum, we will have a social justice forum, and we will be working with the city to do an awards event for their social justice and civil rights awards, which are usually presented at our event. So it's all virtual this year, and it will be spread out throughout the whole month instead of just on one day. But yeah, and of course the exhibit that we have right now, there's just always something happening at the museum still, even when we're not 100% open to the public.
And again, all this information, and it's super easy. Just go to WenatcheeValleyMuseum.org, and you can find anything you need to know. Get a hold of the museum for a private showing of any of their exhibits, because it is generally closed to the public, as Ashley.
It's not any of our exhibits, Dan. It's just the retail spaces, so our gift shop and the art gallery right now, which is our featured exhibit in the main gallery. And that's only up for another month here, and then we'll transition. We will be doing the high school art show again this spring, and it will be 100% virtual. And last year, that was what was happening right when we got closed down, and we did a quick video to share it with the public. But this year it will be 100% virtual, and so we'll be working on getting a full virtual tour of the high school art to share with, the whole region, really.
It sounds to me like you guys at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center are doing pretty good, all things considered. You've had to adapt like we all have, but you're moving forward and doing what you can until you can completely reopen and reestablish your normal business operating procedures. And I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, we're still working with the schools. Our education department is starting a new program called Mobile Makers with the school districts, and that's going to be happening. So there's a lot of things that we are still able to do virtually, and we just can't thank the community enough for all the support we've received, grants and donations from the community. And so thank you to all of our supporters, the people who have remained members, even though they can't come and visit. We thank you so much. And, you know, we couldn't still be where we are without all the help that we received and the support that we've had. So we totally feel grateful and appreciative to everyone, but we're still working hard to serve our mission and finding new ways to do it.
Well, I want to thank you for cranking out the great series of videos, those little 2-minute vignettes called Curator's Corner, taking us behind the scenes and into the places that the general public doesn't get to see for some really cool exhibits, and all of the great videos on your YouTube page. You got to check it out, folks, if you haven't. Go to YouTube, type in Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. There is a plethora of really cool things, entertaining and educational, and I want to thank Ashley, you and the staff, for putting that together for us. It's been a godsend for us too.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been really fun. Curator's Corner is one of our most popular little videos, and it's really cool to see some of the things that we have that aren't always on display but being preserved. And so it's been a lot of fun to be able to share that. And yeah, there's artistic creation. So if you're into art or you have kids, those are some fun videos that we have. We have one coming up too, I think this month, that will relate to our Multicultural Fest. We also have Makerspace to Go. So we still have that going on, a program about monthly. We have a project that you can do this month. It will be pink ski eggs. We were going to do that last spring when we closed, and then weren't able to hold that Makerspace event. And so we're going to make it a to-go project where you register for it, and then you get a kit and you get to take it home and watch the video for how to do it. So there's a lot still happening, and we've just had I wouldn't have imagined ever needing to do kind of the stuff that you guys do, Dan, with video editing and sound editing. And I've learned how to do some of it. I'm not as good as you, but I'm working on it.
It's amazing what you can do if you have to do it, right? As they used to say. Ashley Center for the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have a conversation with Julie Koontz, who plays Eva Anderson, a prominent Wenatchee pioneer educator in People of Our Past, which again rolls out this Thursday, and then every Thursday, the following 3 Thursdays after that. Ashley, it's good to see you.
You too. Thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, more with the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu, because we work to get you to work.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We just heard from Ashley Center for the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center about People of Our Past, returning again this year with a slightly altered format. Once again, they're celebrating 100 years of women's suffrage by having 4 very important women in the history of the Wenatchee Valley and in North Central Washington, profiled by local thespians. And playing the role of pioneer educator Eva Anderson is Julie Koontz. Give it up for Jules.
Yay!
Hi, Jules.
Good morning.
Good to see you. Eva Anderson, and you, first of all, how did you get the role?
By default. Jill Sheets, who was working on this project at the museum, was looking for some local actors who'd be willing to step in and do this. And she still needed someone to play Eva. and my girlfriend, Katie Ringlight, who's playing the attorney that will be featured in one of the videos, contacted me and said, would you be interested? You used to be a teacher. And I'm like, yes. So that's how it happened. I just emailed Jill and said, I'm willing. And
So how much legwork did your cohorts do to get you prepared for the role of Eva Anderson, and how much of that did you have to do your own prep work?
the museum really took care of all of the research and putting together the speech that I was going to give. Like you said, normally this event is held in person and people come and watch, and I would have actually, stood up and pretended like I was giving this speech to the members or the community members of Chelan. So I had the speech, I looked at it, I edited a few little things, did a little bit of research online, but she was pretty amazing. I didn't have to do a lot of legwork, but the more I did research, the more I just was very infatuated and inspired by this firecracker of a lady who was a great teacher and a statesperson who always fought for the right of kids and for education, which is pretty awesome.
So Eva Anderson, tell me about her. Tell me about Eva Anderson, the person, and Eva Anderson, the professional educator.
Eva was born in Nebraska. She got her bachelor's degree in Nebraska at Wesleyan University. And she was born in 1889. So she was, she was a pioneer back then. And she moved to Wenatchee. I'm checking my notes. She moved to Wenatchee in 1912 to start her teaching career, which I believe was in Waterville. And she taught in Waterville and Chelan, and was always a proponent for kids, always just had that idea that, kids are our future. We need to prepare them for what's coming. And then she was the dean of women at Wenatchee High School. Then she became the superintendent of public education for Douglas County Schools. So she was kind of overseeing all that. After she got her teaching degree, she went to the University of Washington and got her master's in education and a PhD. And what's interesting is her thesis for her PhD was on state funding and always making sure that there was going to be ample funds to keep our public education system going. And then when she joined the legislature she served from 1949 to 1961 as a Republican representative of Douglas at Chelan County. So District 12, I believe that is still today. She wrote 30 books. She was just a firecracker, and she was not afraid to get in there with the men and fight for what she wanted. So she was definitely she was a go-getter.
Did you enjoy playing her? Was it a fun role? Was it a challenging role?
What was fun was the pictures I saw of her. She actually reminded me of my paternal great-grandmother. And I got some costuming from Music Theater of Wenatchee, but I had the gray wig from another part I played. And when I put on the gray wig and the hat, I thought, I am my great-grandma. So that was kind of fun. So anyway, I don't know, I felt her passion as I was giving the speech that we filmed for this event. And I just, again, as a retired teacher, I feel her heart for kids and for education. So that was really fun to be able to understand where her passion was coming from.
And that brings up an interesting point. I was going to ask you about this. As you know now, this whole thing is going to be virtual, and Ashley explained how one goes about to watch the people of our past. Normally, you would be on a stage, in character, reciting lines, interacting with the audience. There used to be a Q&A session with you as Eva Anderson, answering questions as Eva Anderson. None of that happened. So from a technical standpoint, is it just you looking into a camera? How did that all pan out?
Yeah, I went to the museum and Jill Sheets had a camera set up. I went up on the stage. We had the podium. We did it in one take, and it might look like we did it in one take. So I just, as I was thinking about this, because again, if we had been doing it like we normally would, I think I still would have presented the same way, because having given quite a few speeches for other things, I don't memorize all of my speeches. You follow along, you use your notes. So I did the same thing in my presentation, in my video. I read parts, I looked at the camera, tried to show emphasis, but it was pretty easy because I didn't feel like I had to memorize a script like I normally do for other shows. So that was kind of easy, which I appreciate.
The thing, and again, we're talking to Julie Koontz, who plays the role of Eva Anderson in People of Her Past, which rolls open for you to watch starting Thursday of this week and then all through the month of January. Last question, then I'll cut you loose. I know you're busy. It sounds to me, what I'm getting out of this is that you really liked portraying Eva Anderson, that you took a lot out of this.
I did, and like I said, she's fascinating. All the books she's written, all the bills that there is a list, like a whole page, 2 pages of bills that she entered to the legislature, and some that passed, some that didn't, but got to first and second, third readings. The majority of them were about, again, representing people who needed to be represented, education always. And what I was thinking about, Dan, that's interesting, is that she was a staunch Republican. And I know that your mom probably knew her. I know that they had connected, which just makes me even more excited to think that I got to portray Eva. So
I wouldn't be surprised, considering Mom knew everybody.
Everybody.
I wouldn't be surprised about that. Julie Kuntz is going to play the role of Eva Anderson. One more question before I cut you loose. Provided we get through all this COVID nonsense and we start having live theater again, you're heavily involved in the local theater scene. What's next for you in the world of thespianism, if you will?
Well, I haven't heard what the Music Theater Wenatchee board has decided. Mamma Mia is hopefully going to be the Apple Blossom musical. I mean, it's planned to. We're kind of waiting on the COVID stance to see what happens. It's been really strange. One of the reasons I jumped at this part was, it's a chance to do some acting and put on a costume. There's not a lot going on. So it's been dark and difficult, and I miss seeing my theater friends, and we're all kind of wandering around in a daze waiting for a chance to get back on the stage and perform.
Of course, I did that even before COVID, just wandering around in a daze. So for me, it's natural.
Well, we don't talk about that, Dan. That's
Julie,
the family stuff we don't
that's the
talk
family
about.
stuff we don't need to talk about. Julie, love you. It's so good to see you. Glad you enjoyed playing Eva Anderson. And again, you can watch Julie and her other 3 cohorts on People of Our Past starting on Thursday. With the information that Ashley gave us earlier. Julie, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Love ya.
Love you too. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue.
Currently, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is open for takeout. Owner Justin Hefner and his staff are just as excited as you to get back to their regularly scheduled full menu, music, and poker, so stay tuned. Meanwhile, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is serving a limited menu for lunch and dinner takeout.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
We're back. It's a very pleasant Wednesday morning. Quite a bit of sunshine, some high clouds, and some fog, and 32 degrees. Pretty quiet weather, all things considered, from the National Weather Service. Let's take one more look at that forecast. Cloudy today, and a little bit of rain this afternoon. We're talking late this afternoon. We had some overnight rain while you were sleeping, by the way. 41 for the afternoon high, 30 for the overnight low tonight. A little bit of mountain snow, not a lot today. Nothing here in the Wenatchee Valley. Catch a break on Thursday, sunshine in the morning, clouds in the afternoon. We'll top off at 38. On Friday, it's kind of going to be a rain-snow mix. All depends on elevation. The snow level will be about 2,000 feet on Friday, so that's your demarcation line, a rain-snow mix at 2,000 feet. Below 2,000 feet on Friday, rain above 2,000 feet. Snow for the most part, but not a lot. It's just a little no accumulation really expected on Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, just kind of quiet. Partly to mostly cloudy skies, no precipitation in the forecast. Highs will be above normal. All of these highs that you see across the board are all above normal. Our normal high this time of the year, right around the freezing mark. So the mild weather continues. That's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.